All right, Alders by Kronos can bring you a match here. This is a different recording that was shared with me and asked to please publish this video, so I will do that. I've been working on this one for a while. I'm excited for it. It is an awesome match. But first, watch that really sweet Four Horsemen intro.
Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
All right, so let's get down to the match here. As always, I try and skip ahead of some of their stuff. Please forgive the background. It's a little off. I was trying to get the camera re-recording, so this way I can try and get as much of the video on the screen as possible for you guys. So we have a quick Bayou to an Elf. We got a typical Taiga, and I'm guessing Kurt Abe. Yep. There's a quick chain to the Ape. And another Elf. Now my little guy's hanging out with me, so if you hear Bluey or him in the background, I apologize. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, looks like we just end up with a pass there. Son's excited about this match. All right, so we got another Taiga. So now we got to worry. We got a lot of mana on that side now. Ooh, Living Plane. And there's the swing. And the pass. One suggestion, if the player on top ever watches this, is try and keep your... It's easy to keep your hand on the table as much as possible. I know sometimes we can't when we play, but when it's not our turn, it just makes it a little easier so everyone can see how many cards you have by putting your hand on the table with like a dice on the top. It just makes it a little bit easier sometimes. There's the Chain Lightning. Let's see what we're targeting here. Maybe we're taking it back. Not really sure what's going on here. I'm going to skip ahead some of this for you guys. Alright, looks like we chained the Bayou. Now, I'm not going to say all the time I skip these things, but if you see a little skip in the video, that's exactly why. There was a long pause, and I didn't want you to sit down for 15 minutes waiting for a decision, so I'll skip ahead of that for you. Alright, looks like you got a all-out swing here. Now remember, playing your lands are creatures. Now if he blocks, he could lose one of his blue sources. So I don't know if he wants to do that. Yep, he's taking a 3, going to 15. We got another land. And Scavenger Folk. And the pass. Alright, so... Alright, did have another blue source either way. Looks like we're playing a Curd Ape. And there's the dice. Looks like he has 4 in hand. I wonder if we got a Pyrotechnics in hand. Well, looks like we didn't have a Pyrotechnics, but I'm guessing we're doing an alpha swing here. Even though he blocks with the Curd Ape on something, still would take 5 damage. Now I'm sure because he didn't block with the land earlier that he probably has something in hand. Looks like we had a boomerang in hand. Showing a little glimpse of the deck. Not really sure what the discussion is, but there's a giant glimpse of it. So you can see these guys do have the shared. Same exact with you. If you want to see some more details of the decks, please visit the Four Horsemen Discord. All the decks are always there for all the previous tournaments. Let's see here. All right. All right, so the Curd Ape blocked the elf. Got another forest. And just the pass. All right, looks like we had some debate. I'm not sure if it was on summoning sickness, but when lands are creatures, that would be summoning sickness, but I'm not really sure what we're discussing here, so I figured I'd pop in real quick. But you notice some cards moved around. It looks like we're just having a long discussion and thought process here. All right, looks like we're deciding to make a play here. Yep, I had a funny feeling because he was pointing at the lands. I had something to do with that. There is the Living Plains. Now all... Oh, there's the counter spell though. We got a mana drain actually. So we've got an egg. That's a great play with the mana drain. I end up. Yep, so now we took a little bit of damage down to 12. But that egg is going to be a problem. It's going to be harder to get around. You can't chain that. So I know we have oubliettes. So oubliette is an amazing answer. That basically phases it out of existence. Let's see what we got going on here. My guess would be oubliette, but we'll see what happens here. Oh, witches. Okay. Ooh, another counterspell. I know he only has 2 cards in hand, but now he's down to 1. So he's got 1 card left. Seems like we're drawing all of our counter magic. Now we have 2 cards in hand. And the pass. There's another Badlands. And the pass. Quick back and forths here. But that egg is definitely a problem. So if he doesn't find an answer for that egg, eventually it's going to get chained and he's going to have a 4-4. Or you never know. Could have Diamond Valley and sack it for a 4-4. But there is another. Looks like. I guess we had 3 cards in hand now. But there's another remove soul. I thought we were going to be at 2, but that's probably my bad. I must have missed something. There's another draw. You can see all the counter magic in a row there, being top decked. That's some awesome luck there. I tend to draw counter magic after the fact. We got a dib, or what do we got going on here? Recall and an island. So yeah, we were up to, wow, okay. Didn't quite see what he grabbed there real quick, but I'm guessing it was one of the counter magic. We are at 2 cards in hand. Are we going to chain the egg? What do we got going on here? Are we chaining the... I was going to say, got to chain the 8. Can't chain the egg. Got to oubliette the eggs. Alright, so 10 to 17 here. Not 100% sure what the discussion's about here. We still just have 2 cards in hand at the top. Alright, we are just taking the 1. Must have been something in hand that he was pondering. I'm guessing if he was thinking boomerang. So now we should be at 3 cards in hand up top. And the pass. So I know the dice says 2, but he actually has 3 cards in hand from the count. I tend to always try and put the dice on top of my pile. I am not perfect at it, but if I put on top of the pile, it forces me to always have the correct hand total there. It's very confusing if you're showing you have 2 cards in hand and you actually have 3. So we're going to take damage because he has to block. He only block 1. Whatever he doesn't block is going to end up getting penal havened. But you have to choose blockers first. There we go. There's the extra damage. And the pass. What do we got here? Big tap. Looks like we're going to destroy the Scavenger Folk. Now I know it still says 2, but he has 3 cards in hand. Now he has 2 cards in hand. We have 3 cards in hand at the bottom. You'll see Tim has his big blue dice in the middle there that he keeps changing. And looks like we got a pass. So now we should be at 3 cards in hand up top. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, those eggs are awesome, but you got to find a way to kill them or sack them. Diamond Valley is a great way. If you're playing black, there is a card that sometimes I wonder if it's better than Sanger Vampire, but it allows you to get rid of your egg to get a 4/4, and the card does get a plus counter on it. So if you know in the comments which black card I'm talking about, that could help you get rid of your own rook eggs. Put it in the comments there and let me know. And let me know what you think of that card. I think in certain formats it is an amazing card. We're going to draw. He shows 3, but I think he actually has 4 in hand. Looks like we got a possible chain going on here. I mean, if he has a chain, he's got to chain his own egg. Because then he has a 4/4. Yes, there's the chain. Now the cool thing about chain lightning and egg, you can chain your own egg and then redirect to your opponent after the fact. Alright, so you put the token on, that ends your turn. So his turn is now over because the token hit the battlefield. Looks like we decided maybe it didn't hit the battlefield. But as soon as that token touches the mat, face up, technically your turn is over. Because that token cannot be created or in play or on the mat until the end of your turn. Yep, so there you'll see it flip back over, but that did end his turn. That's what some people forget. They get so excited about their token, they put it out immediately, and they're not allowed to do anything more. Their turn is done. That token indicates you passed. So now Timmy has to deal with a 4/4 flyer. Okay, let's see what we got here. Got a lot of mana, but we're just going to pass. There's a pause there, so I feel like he must have a Pyrotechnics in hand. Now he does have life to chance away here yet, so he is going to take a hit to 13. It is always chancy when someone's at 7 life and you have 4 damage. But I feel like removing creatures, unless you already have the damage spell in hand, it is a gamble that's probably going to cost you 8 life and possibly more. But sometimes you'll draw that direct damage, get to 7, and finish your opponent off. So, don't know. Now, Dib will damage him on his upkeep. So if he can find a way to get something through here. Oh, draw engine. We have an answer. Now it shows 3 cards in hand, but I actually don't know how many he has in hand. Okay. Past that long break and pause for you. Looks like we're going to possibly tap and make something happen here. Tapping. No. Might have changed our mind. I mean, if I had Oubliette, I would definitely play it out. He might be drawing a card. I can't quite tell yet. Alright, there we go. We decided to play. If you know what that card is, put it in the comments. I love this card, but it is basically a 1/1 lifelinker. Now, typically be like, oh my gosh, 3 mana for a 1/1. But yeah, Penalhaven is real with that thing. So basically, your 3 mana is for a 2/3, but we see another counterspell there. Again, the dice indicates 3 cards in hand. I don't actually know how many cards in hand he has at the moment. Now, if you didn't quite catch, if you look at the bottom, you'll see a little piece of the video show where it has a time. This initial recording I was given was basically 2 hours long. So I'm trying to cut it down to only the most important parts for you guys, so you guys can keep track. Looks like we've got an alpha swing in the air going on here. That's going to hit hard. Depending on what Timmy has in hand, he only needs to really do... Oh, what do we got here? Looks like another play. And earn him. Counting up a lot of land here. All right. Let's see what we got. Chain lightning. Okay. Now he does not have the double red to chain it back. So that's going to put him at 3. Timmy definitely needs something here. I mean, technically he does have a flyer, so if he does block with the flyer, he can negate the 4 damage and still draw a card before it goes to the graveyard. Hmm. Alright, looks like we just ended up passing turn. He's going to go to 2. I don't think Tim has any, but there is a black fog. If you know what the black fog is, put that in the comments. That's pretty cool. But there is fog for 1 black mana, and it is not called fog. But that would be game ending at this point if he had one of them. Alright, again, sorry about the pauses here, guys, but I'm not going to sit you and have you watch 15 minutes of nothing happening while they discuss here, but there is a huge strike, like I was talking about. That's what I figured would happen. Now, I know the flyer has Forest Walk. That's what the dice is indicating. Looks like he's going to block and draw. The only other option is to not block, but I don't know what we have in hand up top, and I think it shows we only have 2 cards, but I can't tell. It looks like they're piled up, so it might be more. It might be 2, it might be, I can't quite see. But there was the pass. You can see Timmy's 3 cards. Alright, looks like we got a Blight. And there's the Pyrotechnics I was talking about. I had a feeling one of those was going to come up sooner or later. Not sure what the pause is, but please be mindful, you guys, when you do record these and you have a side view. There's a mana drain that the shadow is cast upon yourself, so your shadow's actually moving around. I could tell that there was something going on in hand. I'm not sure what the pause was. If I had a mana drain, I'd be playing that thing instantly. But there's a mana drain and a pass. I don't think there's anything Timmy can do here. Oh, there's another Pyrotechnics on that side. And we still had 2 cards, so it must have had 3 cards in hand. With the draw, so 2 to 3. Alright, well that's a great game. Let's get on to game number 2. Alright, so we're on game number 2 here. So we got a volcanic island to a Card Ape. Ivory Tower. Yeah, get the tower out before all the counter magic. Again, this is a great example of counter magic and Four Horsemen. A lot of different types of cards you can play. Some you actually see Flash Counter. Great card. There's a swing, so we're going to go to 18. Tim still has 7 cards in hand, so he will net gain. You'll see the gain there. He's going up to 21, so even with the Curd Ape, it's not actually doing damage. It is taking away some of the life gain Timmy has. But he's going to have to start playing some other creatures out in order to get past that. Tim's going to stay at 7 life. There's another swing for 2. We're going to net gain again. It's like some quick back and forths here. Got a Taiga. I'm assuming we're going to stay with 7. All right, let's see what we got here. There's the pass on tap. Another swing. Looks like we're having mana issues up top here. We got another mountain here now, so let's see what we got. Looks like we have 5 cards in hand. There's the pass, net gain. There's a book. I'm guessing that's going to get countered. Yep, there's the mana drain. Now, if I'm counting correctly, he does not actually have 5 cards in hand. That should make him to 5. There's a land, so he should be back to 4 cards in hand. 3 cards in hand. There's an Urnum. And the swing. Now Tim has to play an answer. If he has another black source, he can play an Oubliette. There's the life gain. There's the Taiga. And we're going to pass. All right, looks like Tim does not have either the mana or the answer at the moment. There's the quick swing. I think we're finally getting in here. And there's the gain with 7. So we're going to go back to 21. There's a factory. That answers the ape. Now if he can play a creature down, it would automatically gain Forest Walk. So that's where the 1/1 lifelinker would be amazing if he had the extra black. Yes, again, 3 mana for a 1/1 lifelinker. So if you put in the comments the name of it, that's awesome. That, again, is an overlooked card in certain formats. But if you're playing with Penalhavens, that 1/1 lifelinker is basically 3 mana for a 2/3 lifelink. There's the pass. Let's see what we have here. And we got plenty of mana on top. I'm expecting something to happen. Looks like we're up to 3 cards. It's very hard to tell. I can see them moving in There's a strip mine. Still see him. I can always tell the reflections of flipping through cards and stuff, but I can't always see how many cards you have in hand. I believe there's 2. There's the pass, the life link. We're going to go stay at 18. Nice, pyrotechnics. Still funny, I'm really thinking about changing out my fireball to a pyrotechnics. Just because if I'm playing against weenies, that is much more beneficial. That's a perfect example. You're able to kill a creature and still dish damage out. Where fireball, you can't do that. It's either kill the Curd Ape and do nothing to the person, or it's going to cost way too much mana to do the same action. So we're going to pass and take the swing, but with 7 cards left in hand on Tim's side, he's going to negate all of that damage. When it comes to upkeep, but he does need to start putting something down because his opponent is on 19. So there's to drop the 14. He should go back up. Wondering if he's going to strip the factory. You could always wait on activation for something like that, but sorry about the quick pause there, guys. There's the life gain. Oh, there we go. Oubliettes. We must have been waiting on that black source. And we have a boomerang. So we're going to save it. Technically, what do we got here? We're going to see a swing. Yep, swing for 2. I actually like to keep the strip mine in this format because there's a lot of Diamond Valleys and other cards that can really mess your day up, even though they're one-offs. No. Earn 'em? Yep, earn them. Alright, I cannot see what the other land is below that, but I think it's volcanic. Yep, there we go. So it is double blue up. Now we know the mana drain is gone. But there are removed souls and boomerangs and other things, as you can see. Going to destroy the volcanic island. Oh no, I'm sorry, return the volcanic island. So now he does not have counter magic up. Okay. Looks like we went up to 5 cards in hand on top. But we have another oubliette out here. So that's going to take care of the Urnum. As a great strategic move to return to land. Change phases and then there we go. Now the Urnum is gone. We're going to swing in for 2 more. down to 15. And the pass turn. Now we have 5 cards in hand out at the bottom, so we're not going to gain a lot of life, but if Timmy doesn't play any cards out, he's still going to net gain a life here. There's a Curd Ape. And a book. Looks like we have a response. Yep, we're going to blast the book. And a pass. So Curd Ape is going to stop that factory from getting through, unless he has a chain or something of that fact, but forcing Timmy to play these cards out is going to get him off his tower defense. But at the moment, he really doesn't need the tower defense. It's always nice to draw cards, but you got to have a balance. You got to be able to kill people. All right. We are going to play a Chain Lightning out there. So he did get through. Curd Ape is gone. The strip mine is still there. He's taking a lot of damage from that factory. That strip mine's probably looking pretty hungry at the moment, but I guess not. I'm guessing he's been playing for a while, so I'm guessing he's holding out for a Diamond Valley or a Maze. There's a swing for 2. There we go. Gonna strip out the factory. And the pass. Let's see what we've got. Hand up top. All right. There's a long thought process there, but it looks like we're starting to do something now. Oh, we got the recall again. Nothing he's going to be able to do about it in the colors he has. So it looks like he's pitching a remove soul for probably a mana drain. Couldn't quite see there, but look, I mean, that's what I would have picked. Now at this point, you almost got to play something to force the mana drain out of his hand, because you know that's the only counterspell left. It says he has 3 cards left after that. There's the pass. He's going to go to 19. Alright, and some rearranging of lands and some thought processes, but in the end we decided to pass turn here. There's a Curd Ape. Gonna have to find an answer for that Curd Ape. Even a 1/1 on his side would do it. That lifelinker would be great right now. This game is slow enough to have a lifelink that could be a 2/3 is huge. It's like we're trying to decide what to throw out here. I personally would force that mana drain out of his hand. So I would try and not play the biggest creature in my hand, but I would definitely do something to try and force that mana drain out. It might even be as simple as a Chain Lightning on the Curd Ape. I cannot see. It shows 3 cards in hand, but at the top, not exactly sure. I know Timmy actually has 7 because of the draw, so you see him correct and pass. So if that dice is right, this is 4 cards. Can't quite see. I see a lot of movement and the reflections, but I cannot quite see how many cards are in hand. Guessing there's an Urnum. Yep, there's another Urnum. We're gonna gain up to 22 again. Timmy has to find something. Now there's 2 mana open, and you know it's for a mana drain, so he can only counter one thing this turn. If I had that 1/1 lifelinker, I'd be well. That's definitely something that somebody might want to counter. Oh, he has a remove soul too. Wow. And he pitched a remove soul and casted one, so he must have all his counter magic from his deck there. That's some good drawing. So there's a pass after a book. We got 6 cards in hand, so Timmy will take a net loss here. All Timmy needs is a lifelinker out. If you can get the lifelink out, that's going to be a Forest Walk lifelink. There's a Maze of Ith. So those cards I was saying about keeping that strip mine for. Because now there is a huge uptick. Basically, you took care of the Urnum. So the only thing the Urnum's going to do is it technically is a blocker, but it's going to give whatever creature Tim gets out Forest Walk. And if it is that lifelinker, that is a huge benefit. Now there's another Kurt Ape. Looks like we're going to draw with the tome, a book here. We're going to pitch a Penelhaven. Now, put in the comments, I always wondered if my first turn drop was say a mountain Kurt Ape, and I did not have a forest in play, I could use the Penelhaven next turn to beef my Kurt Ape. But if I have a mountain and a Penelhaven out, before I play my next forest, or I should say my first true forest, I could use the Penelhaven to bump the Kurt Ape. And then I wonder when I play the forest if he bumps again. Into almost like an Urnum. I always wondered that. Could you stack Penelhaven and the play of your forest to make your Kurt Ape a temporary Urnum? There's a Maze. There's a book. Now, if he keeps letting that thing go off, Timmy will find an answer and take the game. It's not as good as a Gemini Tome, but again, when you're filtering useless lands out of your hand, you can really filter through pretty quick. Looks like we're only at 2 cards in hand up top. There's a 1/1 lifelinker. Now that should draw the counter magic out of his hand. Again, I see a lot of movement in the reflections and stuff, but I can't actually see. But you know he has a mana drain. Looks like he's deciding not to do anything about it, but the turn was... Yep, okay. So now the lifelinker is out with the Penelhaven and the Maze. That is going to be extremely beneficial. pitch of forest. We got a lot of land on top, or not play of a forest. Still showing 2 cards in hand. There's a pyrotechnics. Hitting a life link and going directly to the top. Hitting an alpha strike there. We're going to untap to earn him, I'm sure. Going to book again. So we're going to discard a swamp. Going to gain a little bit of life here. Showing 1 card in hand according to the dice up top. Looks like we're going to play. Yes. That's huge. Got the witches. And a pass. So the witch is stuck. I'm not really sure what's in hand. He should only have 2 cards in hand at the moment. There's a big alpha swing. We do have the witches and a Diamond Valley out, so we got to watch how we're doing things here. But we can bounce and earn them off and untap untap the earn them and bounce a Curd Ape, because the damage from the Curd Ape will not kill the witches. I believe that Urnum's supposed to be untapped. There's a Chain Lightning. Guessing that's on the witches at this point. Now the Chain Lightning has successfully been cast. He can choose to make a copy of sorcery speed of the chain if he wishes. Again, that's sorcery speed, not instant. So if he does copy it, it is a sorcery speed. There's the sorcery speed. So now there is a copy of that spell that is cast. The discussion was, can I sack to the Diamond Valley? And depending on which rules you're reading, it says yes and no at the same time. So we ended up reading the Oracle text later, and it, not according to the discussions, but according to the actual reading of the Oracle text, it doesn't sound like you can sack the witches. But again, this is sorcery speed spells, so you might be able to. I don't actually know. If you have the true, real idea on that one, let me know. But again, the copy of, it's a copy, like a fork almost. Basically, it's a built-in fork, but it's sorcery speed. So in theory, you should be able to react, because the spell has to be successful, and then you can copy. Alright, looks like we're, after the little discussion here. It looks like we're going to play a 1/1 lifelinker. Now he has one card in hand up top. If I'm not mistaken, that is the mana drain. So now the turn is over. He did pass. Looks like we're deciding we're not going to let him pass. I'm not really sure exactly what was going on here, but I'm going to let a little of this play for you so you can see that I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm going to skip a lot of this. I believe there's 10 minutes of this, so I will skip it for you. Alright, so basically to catch you up after the long discussions there, we ended up mana draining the creature. So the 1/1 lifelinker was mana drained, so he should have no cards in hand now. There is an elf. We'll see what the top deck is here. We know the 1/1 gets Forest Walk. We're going to maze and pump. So should negate all damage. And we have a pass. Now he has one card in hand. You know it's not a mana drain. He used a lot of his remove souls and all that already, so to me as a big creature, I'd almost play it out now. Looks like he might, the way he's messing with his mana sources here. Now with those colors, and looking at the deck pictures on the Discord here, I believe he has a Swamp King. I just don't know if he has it in hand, but the way he's messing with his mana tells me he's got a Swamp King. We're going to keep rearranging lands here on both sides. Alright. Brought you back right when we decided, so we are playing. Looks like we have another counter spell there. So we got another remove soul. So there goes the Swamp King. Should be able to attack in if he wanted to. He's at a lower life total, so I would, yep, I was going to say, I would attack in. You know you're going to maze of it. He doesn't have strip mines left. He's in top deck mode. There's a big swing. We're going to untap the Ernie again. We're going to take the 2. There's the one card he had, which was a Chain Lightning. He's going to Diamond Valley for 1. Alright, let's see what we draw here. I saw a comment in one of my other videos. Just want to give a little shout out to that one. I thought it was awesome, but somebody was definitely trying to scryfall to find some of the answers. When you're not used to some of the cards in the old format, you don't realize there's very powerful cards you typically don't see, because a lot of people are playing these cookie cutter decks, but there's a lot of little janky things you can do. There's a big rook egg. That's going to be a big problem for him to deal with. Now he's only at 8 life. And on basically, Timmy can wait till his end step. So he can still block the ape, maze the Urnum, take no damage. And on the player's end step, he can sack the egg, gain 3 life, and get a 4/4 token on the end of the play. I see a lot of movement on the top screen there, but we should only have 1 card in hand. I can't quite tell what's going on. There he is. We're going to take the damage from the token. Do we have a pyrotechnics? No, he would have. Oh, we have a trike. Well, that'll do it. That was a great game. All right, so we're on game number 3 here. Skipped ahead of all the changes and discussions and that for you once again. At this point, we had a mulligan, so Timmy's trying to decide what to put back. Let's see what we have. Bayou Elf. Perfect black-green play. There's a quick chain, though. Another elf and a Badlands. Definitely got to get rid of those mana dorks, but... Oh, we're going to play a library. That's going to help him get some cards he needs, but he's going to have to get something because Timmy can get ahead here pretty quick. Well, there's a book. So now he can filter out unnecessary cards. There's a quick pass. We're going to have the Sullivan Library trigger here. Again, this is a perfect example of what to do. Always keep your Sullivan Library away from your true hand. That way there's not any accidental mix-ups. Looks like we're going to keep all 3 of them there. So that usually this early will indicate that those are probably all lands. There's a chain lightning on the elf. He's in a bad spot, so he can't be drawing 3 turns worth of lands. That's where the tome comes into play. You can filter out those lands. I don't know how many cards are in hand at all. I'm not sure. It says 7 down there, but I don't think he actually has 7 cards in hand. I'm not sure. He might because he took all the damage. But yeah, those are definitely lands he took. Otherwise, he would have made some plays by now. He would have put out a dib or some other things. But now it should be a good 3 for him, hopefully. I love to see 3 great games, especially when you're down into top 8 and top 4. You definitely want to watch some good games here. looks like we decided to put back. Could not tell how many. I believe I'm guessing he only took one. He didn't lose any life. But I could not see the cards the whole time, so I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely just took one. He did not lose any life. Yeah, there's a dib. Oh, there we go. He must have had a question about it. Let's see the hand there. Looks like we have 7 cards in hand still. Tim is down to 3. You can see it indicated on a dice there. But he's at 11. So sometimes a dib when somebody's at 11 is not actually as big of a problem as you think. Especially when you play pyrotechnics and stuff like that. Again, you think, oh my god, all that mana, but he's tapped out playing a dib, and this is a perfect time. They have a lot of mana. So now you got a 5/5 Swamp Walk. Now we don't have any swamp on that side, but he also gains 1 life for every black spell. So we did tap the city there. There's a correction. He said city and put down the wrong card. So he did call it properly and have it run properly, but he put down the wrong card, so he had to fix himself quick. Now we have to find an answer on top. That Swamp King, you gotta find an answer to that. And we'll see who moves on to the big game after this one. Alright, looks like we decided which cards we were taking. Did not lose life. Not sure what's going on there, but I do see the shadows moving around, so he must decide what card to play here. You see a lot of, see, there's a good indicator right there. There's some card movement going on. You saw the shadow of the entire card being moved around. Looks like he's discarding Amnesia. That's an awesome card, but definitely don't have the mana for it. That's actually pretty sad. That means he doesn't have anything in hand. So I'm assuming we're going to see possibly an oubliette and strike for 5, or we're just going to see a block. We're going to look up, oh no, I thought we were looking up a deck picture there quick. But knowing Tim's deck being black like that heavy, he's going to have multiple oubliettes. Looks like he's going to pitch a swamp for the draw of the book. Yes, if I had an oubliette here, I would play the oubliette. The dib already did the damage you needed to the person. So basically, you play an oubliette now. You go to 18. But basically, all the dib did is do damage to its opponent. And you'll be able to get in for 5. So the oubliette's basically getting 6 damage through for the most part, because he did 1 to himself. So this is like a game of chess in my mind. So by oublietting the dib, you're basically negating all positive effects from it. All you do is tap out, allow a Swamp King to happen. And by getting oublietted, yep, right there you'll see an oubliette. Now that negates every single thing positive that you've tried to accomplish with that dib. There's a swing for 5. So again, you allowed a tap out so your opponent could play free. You took a damage to yourself from the dib, did not do any damage with the dib with attacking, and it got oublietted. So basically it is like Tim just did 6 damage straight out with no consequences. That's what you got to watch with dibs. and Juzams and stuff like that. That could really hurt you a lot. I know there's no sitting a bottle in this format, but you don't really need it. Spirit links are real, oubliettes are real. There's a lot of ways to take away the advantage of the card. I'm guessing we have an Urnum here, maybe? I see a lot of movement here. I'm not sure what we're looking for. You'll see a lot of cards flopping around. You can see it in the reflection of the light on the forest there. This is what I've been talking about before. You can watch a lot of players moving around. You can't always see exactly what they're trying to do. Looks like we thought we had something and didn't, so we're going to play another dib out. Tapping 4 like that, if it wasn't an Urnum, I'm guessing it was an egg. An egg would be huge. So by what it looks like he might have grabbed the wrong card with Sullivan Library, which I have done on multiple occasions myself, because I'm thinking ahead a couple moves. Again, sorry about the cameras there, guys. I did the best I could with what I had available to me. I hope you guys enjoy these games. We're going to pitch a city to the book. And Chain Lightning. It's down to 2. We're just going to pass. Put him down to 1. Looks like his Sullivan Library pile's off to his right, which is our left here. I can't quite tell. I saw a card go into that pile, but I don't really know what the choppiness, what happened, but it looks like a... Yeah, I'm trying to... Oh, looks like we got a scoop. Okay. Well, that's it. Congratulations on the great games, guys. Those are amazing. Congratulations on making it this far. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And if you're having all this crazy snow,